as the session has got underway for the United States, we are seeing some buying on the lower side, and for us, the equity index of Nasdaq is going to be of particular interest in today's session, as it has not really shown big move compared to the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P 500. Even if we take a look on the European equity indices, they are trading pretty higher, and for the star performer of the day, we can use the DAX, which has gained more than 3 percentage point at the moment, and it is showing no signs of stopping. But for Nasdaq, as it is made up of the tech sector stocks, the gains are fairly limited, and as the US coronavirus aid bill has passed, the inflation concerns are also surfacing, and in today's session, we have seen that US Treasury yields for 10 years have hit the 1 year high of 1.6%. So, some of the factors are there that are weighing heavily on the Nasdaq, but I think on these levels, if we don't really see a fresh breakout on the lower side below the recently formed swing low, then I think a good case can be made for the buy trade even on the current levels. And if we see a breakout from the near term highs above the recent swing highs, then I think it might change the course of Nasdaq. And that is what we are going to look into in today's session, as I feel for the equity indices for the United States, the short term correction which we were seeing for last week is mostly coming to an end, and it is almost has ended for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But even other two equity indices, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, they are also looking promising. But of course, we do have to watch out for the near-term bottom, and there are some key technical levels which we need to keep in mind while looking for the fresh trading opportunities. If we look at the data docket for the day, there were not many releases of major importance in today's session. It is almost blank for the US. If we look over the US Treasury auctions, so we will not really go into the details of that. Now, let's move on to the technical segment, where first we will see the technical outlook for the Nasdaq, and then we will also consider the light crude oil, which has opened the day on the high. It has corrected somewhat from those levels, but even now, I think the near term trajectory is likely to remain bullish. So, we will see what are the implications of today's sharp upside open in the morning. So, let's start with the technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart for the Nasdaq, and here the Nasdaq has corrected almost more than 10 percentage point from its all-time highs, and it has gotten closer to these prior swing highs. And on those lower levels, just closer to these 12,400 mark, we are seeing that for last three trading sessions, it has consolidated. Not three, two trading sessions, and today's session where we were mostly using the Nasdaq futures data while the European session was underway. So if we consider all these three trading sessions, then on the lower side it has found some buying momentum, and as a result of that, even if we consider the prior swing high, this daily time frame chart does give us some confidence that this might be the level where we can indeed look for some retracement on the lower side, and that is also looking pretty much in our favor, as we are seeing some fresh buying momentum in today's session as the US session has started. So from that perspective, we do have good chance of it extending the gain on the higher side, and getting closer to even 13,000 mark in next couple of sessions. So we will see what are the implications moving forward, and some of the key levels which we need to watch out for in the near term. So on this lower time frame chart, we have the central pivot point around 13,100. So that's pretty far away. And right now, the Nasdaq is trading closer to this first support of this month's pivot point series, which is there around 12,400. And now if we look closely, it looks like a double bottom formation. As for US session, it has shown turnaround absorbed from the lower levels, and that gives me the confidence that this double bottom kind of formation might hold. And if we do get the breakout anywhere above this prior swing high, if we see that the Nasdaq is able to cross and hold about 12,800, then that will be a turning point from short to medium term perspective for the Nasdaq. And in due course of time, I think these levels of closer to central pivot point above the 13,000 can be expected in next couple of sessions. So that can be considered as our near term target if we see that the price action holds as we are anticipating. If we consider the regression curve, it is still pretty much bearish, but the only thing which we can take heart from is that the price action is now in the upper band. It is trying to even move above this upper band of this regression curve. So I think that is likely to force the regression curve to flatten in next couple of sessions. Right now it is deeply inclined on the bearish side, but the things might change as the time passes. And if the Nasdaq holds on to these gains, now we will have to rely on the lower time frame charts like hourly if you want to trade in today's session. And I think in near term we should be looking for this breakout above the prior swing high and above this 100 SMA marker. And if that happens in today's session, then I think the case will be pretty strong for the revival of fortunes of Nasdaq, and we might see it is able to even cross about 200 SMA in due course of time. But for that, first we need it to cross and hold above this immediate resistance zone, the minor resistance zone, closer to these prior swing highs and the 100 SMA zone. So in today's session, it is important for Nasdaq to hold and close above the 12,800 mark. And if I think that happens, then maybe by tomorrow's session we will have much favorable outlook for the Nasdaq in a bullish trajectory. And then if we see some sort of correction happening, and if it is not really breaking below the immediate swing low, then I think the case will be far more stronger than what it is now. So here we will have to be patient and observe the price action. In today's session, the closing is going to be a lot crucial. And if we see it closing above the 12,800 mark, then I think the case becomes much stronger. And in due course of time, as I had also said while explaining the 4 hourly chart, the highs of around 13,100 or 13,200 can be expected, while keeping the stop loss anywhere closer to this immediate swing low. Even today's low should be good enough if the strength in upward trajectory holds, and if we don't really see any substantial move on the lower side in today's session or in tomorrow's session. So that should be something which we need to keep in mind, that for the reversal, for the revival of the Nasdaq, it is important that it is able to hold on to its gains in the session so far, and then it should uh, consolidate on these higher levels for some time, and only after that we can think about getting involved for the fresh long trades. Now let's see what's happening in the light crude oil. Light crude oil opened the week on its highest level, and that's happened because of the fresh attacks on the Saudi Arabia's crude oil production facilities. And as a result of that, in the morning when the Asian session began, we had this spike. But as the day has progressed, the light crude oil has given up some of those gains, and now it is even trading below the Friday's close. But if we consider this daily time frame formation here, we do have the support in form of this prior swing low, the immediate swing low, which is there around 63.70. So as long as light crude oil is holding well above 63 USD per barrel, I think we have to continue to trade in the bullish trajectory only. And given the stellar run like crude oil has enjoyed in recent past, and also the improving global growth scenario is going to raise the demand for the crude oil, and as a result of that, the light crude oil prices, I'm not really expecting the correction to happen. And if we are fortunate enough even on these levels, I think we can profit from long trades, and instead of looking for shorting. Even now the in much time is much more favorable to go long, but for that we have to keep in mind some key technical levels, and only if we are able to capitalize on the situation, then only I think we will end the day on a profitable note. So here we have the light crude oil trading closer to the first resistance of this month's pivot point series after starting its rally closer to this central pivot point. So it didn't really take much time for the light crude oil to rally from the central pivot point to the first resistance, and it did it in just one or two sessions. Now, on the higher side, it has indeed corrected somewhat, and it has filled up the gap up open also, and because of that I think we will have to be cautious here. But as long as light crude oil is holding above these prior swing high, which is there around just about USD 63 per barrel level, I think we can continue to hope that these gains are are for sure, and we are not really going to see this evaporating anytime soon, and we can even build on this price trajectory for fresh positions in the long side, and in due course of time even the levels closer to this second resistance of this month's pivot point series, which is there above the US dollar 70 mark, can be expected. So even now, I think we have to continue to look for buying opportunities, and the best case is going to be that this correction which we are seeing in today's session, it should stall anywhere closer to this US dollar 63 per barrel mark, and after that there should be some consolidation before we think about getting involved, and then I think, as I said, even this second resistance zone can be considered as our next possible target. But we have to keep in mind that in the market, nothing is certain, and our job is to cut down on possible losses in case our anticipation goes wrong. So, from that perspective, I would say that in today's session, this is not really the time to get involved for fresh long position, and instead of that, see if it is able to hold above this immediate consolidation phase area. These prior swing highs of around US dollar 63 per 63.5 barrel level, and if it is able to hold on to these price levels, I think after it consolidates, and if it is still holding well above this 100 SMA marker, then in due course of time, maybe tomorrow's session should be good enough, we can even think about getting involved for the fresh long side run on the higher side. And in due course of time, as I said, the levels of around US dollar 70 per barrel can be expected, while keeping the stop loss anywhere below these 200 SMA should be good enough. So it's not really going to be a sharp stop loss. The stop loss is going to be wide, but then we have to keep in mind that light crude oil has been pretty volatile in recent days, and because of that, we will have to keep stop loss a bit wider. But to keep the risk in check, you can cut down on possible lot size, and then depending on the equity capital in your account, you can go for the optimum positioning to make sure that even if you happen to be on the wrong side of the trade, you shouldn't be losing too much money, and in case it goes right, then you should be of course making a lot of money. So that's the mantra to remain profitable in the trading. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated for trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.